Welcome to Get Real. I'm Leo, owner of Realtor Meter 360, and joining us today is Amanda. Now, we're going to talk about how Amanda and I met and how we crossed paths to where we are doing this podcast, which I think is pretty amazing. And Amanda, she's also a new agent, been an agent for...
I did the math. I'm almost in my 5th month, so about 4 months.
Okay, let's rewind a little bit. I want Amanda to tell you a little bit about herself, to do that proper introduction so you know exactly who she is. And down the road, you're going to realize what she's capable of. She's an amazing person.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you. My gosh, that's a lot to live up to. I'm excited to be here. I'm really excited to do this. The first time that Leo and I met, we kind of talked about some of the things that we're both working on and starting new businesses and maintaining new businesses. So that really inspired some of this conversation and the topics that we want to cover. So I'm excited to be here for that. And how we met was on my first listing. So I'll kind of dive in. Should we start with how we met or how
let's
in real estate? Yeah, let's
let
do
these
that.
folks know how we met.
So we connected through my first listing, which is still an active listing. So I'm pretty excited. I am co-listing with an agent in my brokerage. I think that's not an opportunity that a lot of new agents would get to have. So I want to highlight that as well. If you can find somebody within your brokerage to sort of mentor with and especially get that co-listing option, it's a little bit different because instead of me having to ask how to do it the right way or what he found is the right way for him, I just get to kind of follow along and shadow and watch, and then also be an active part of the listing because it's mine as well. And I think that's the best, left seat, right seat, driver, passenger. You get both of those opportunities in one. So I think I'm really lucky to have an agent who's willing to do that with me on my first listing.
That's really good, because I tell you what, starting out in the business, it's not always easy to find good help. People willing to.
It's intimidating. Even if you're an experienced business professional, you're still doing something new for you. So it's still, no matter what, it's a lot, and it can be intimidating in certain areas where no one's an expert at everything, right? No one's good at everything. So it's great to be able to see those areas where I can sharpen my tools a little bit and I have room to grow, and where skill sets that I already have honed pretty well can help me out and pick up some slack. And being able to shadow somebody like that is such an advantage in the beginning. So I'm lucky there. Blessed.
That's awesome.
I'd say blessed before I'd say lucky, actually.
So I want to get real. I want to get real a little here and talk a little bit more about how we cross paths. Like, to go back to that shoot that we were doing, that we were working on. So we did the shoot. While we were going through the shoot, I remember we were trying to find a clubhouse.
Yes.
The clubhouse that turned out wasn't there.
Did not exist, yeah.
And so I noticed on the license plate, I think it was Minnesota, so it definitely wasn't a Florida plate.
Yep.
And then that sparked the conversation.
License plate.
And, I told Amanda that I'm reinventing myself. I don't know exactly how that conversation started, but the words that I used were, I'm reinventing myself.
We both just kind of basically started, that was really our first, we had crossed paths, but really our first introduction as human beings and as, professionals working together. So there was kind of a lot in that first conversation. We both realized we had a lot of opportunity to keep going. So yeah, you started talking to me about how you got to this literally physical point in your life, and us meeting each other. And I, same for me. So yeah, let's do it.
And that's really what sparked this this whole podcast coming together. So let's go back a little bit and let me tell you a little bit about my path. So photography has always been a passion for me, and I had to make a life change. Working at a dealership for over 20 years, I had to make some adjustments in my life. So naturally, photography was a really good option, because I figured at that point I can start my photography business, which I decided to do real estate because it's so much more fast-paced. So at any rate, I got into the real estate photography.
What do you mean by fast pace? I want to.
Well, fast pace. So
like you can turn over clients quickly, or what do you mean by that?
So what I mean by that is, you book service on my website. I go out the same day or the next day and fulfill that order. Versus like when you're doing wedding photography or portrait photography and so forth.
I
It's
see.
like with weddings, you're booking maybe 6 months or a year out
Got
and
it.
so forth.
Okay, I see what you're
With the
saying.
real estate stuff, it's just really fast paced, And I'm in the field every day working with agents and brokers, and I'm seeing the wins and I'm seeing just the day-to-day things that they're going through. And one thing that I notice about this business is the ones who are most authentic are the ones that really make it in this business, because the real estate business, it's not an easy industry to succeed in, and we'll touch more on that. But I had to make some adjustments in my life because there were some things that were happening that I needed that flexibility to be able to fulfill other obligations. And when I look back at it as a finance manager, I'm dealing with people all day, and one thing I did notice is that people would tell me how good I am at the little details, paying attention to those little details. And so, in owning my photography business, I already had the people skills, and I already had the skills of paying attention to details and so forth. And it's finding those things that you're good at, which I want you to talk about, this whole personality thing. Finding things that you're good at and working from your strength to succeed. So reinventing myself, I had to figure out the things that I'm good at, so it's not so much a crazy learning curve, where I can get into being productive a lot sooner and a lot quicker or a lot faster, however you want to put it. But yeah, that's my little background. Can you
Yeah.
share with us a little bit about Amanda?
Absolutely. I mean, and this is kind of one of the first things that we touched on when we met and had this conversation is what led you here? I mean, how far back do you really want to go, right? You can go all the way back. So getting real, being real. I moved to Florida from Minnesota. That's why I'm still rocking my Minnesota plates. Can't quite let go just yet. It'll be 3 years next month, 3 years in November that I moved back. I was born here. I was born in Southwest Florida. When my family moved to Minnesota, I was 8 or 9. I was pretty young. So we didn't have any family in the area when we left. It probably would have made it a harder choice. But we left. It was a better opportunity for, my folks at the time, my family at the time. Over the years that we were living in Minnesota, all of my family, extended family, ended up migrating back to the Southwest Florida area. So that's kind of been a second home base, as we were growing up. This is, weddings, funerals, holidays, we would spend a lot of time in Southwest Florida. So I always knew and felt that at some point I wanted to live in Southwest Florida again and be near my family. It was kind of always in the back of my mind that when I got out of the military, that would be a place that I would maybe not end up forever, but for a while. So fast forward, I had gotten out of the military. I had ended a relationship, sold my house, was, moving towards this being where I was going to be. And a hurricane started coming in, and that was Ian. And I had actually bought and remodeled a camper.
I see.
Because I didn't know where I wanted to be, what I wanted to do as far as where I was going to live and everything. So I wanted that first few months of flexibility, and that was kind of my plan. Plus, it's just a passion and a hobby of mine. I've always been a camper person. So I was poised to come down here and live in a camper. And, it was right before Ian was happening. And I remember talking to my brother and my sister-in-law. And as that storm was gaining speed and picking up, he said, it's probably going to be nothing. It's always nothing. But let's just, why put it into the worry? Let's just have you wait until the storm passes and then come down. Well, we all know how Ian went. So it delayed me actually moving to Florida when I wanted to. But I'll also just go ahead and throw out that I'm so glad that everyone in my family made it through that okay. It was very hard to watch on the other side and not have connectivity and know how everyone was doing. So that experience and going through that, I think, put another spark in me. It was a do or die. I'd had my whole life packed, ready to go. This is happening. So it's not going to not happen. It's just going to be another way of figuring out how to get down there. So I moved to Florida. I had started working in the construction industry. I was doing operations at a construction company. That's when I met Michael and Susanna, who own Worthington Realty. It was right when I had moved down here. And my brother was opening his business at the time. And that's how he connected to Michael and Susanna. I think he had actually known them for a few years prior, but they had kind of reconnected and started getting involved with each other and, both starting two businesses and supporting each other simultaneously. They had just bought Worthington at the time. So I met Michael when I had stopped by my brother's business to just see how things were going. And he introduced me to Michael, what do you do? What do you do? That whole conversation. We knew right away, I think, in our first meeting, Michael and I, that there was going to be potential for us to connect about something somewhere down the road. And then again, fast forward, I think I had met Susanna a few more times, at the pub, and they're married and own the brokerage with Brian, who's our broker. So the three of them are owners of Worthington. I did not meet Brian until I had actually considered working with them.
I see.
But a few years later, we reconnected. I had left construction and was moving on. I was at a pivot point. So I think there was probably a hand in fate that put us together in the time that it did, because Michael had said, oh my gosh, that's perfect, because we're at a different point with the business now. We're ready to take off with it and grow it. Do you have time to have a conversation? Can we get together? I said, yeah, absolutely. We had no plan. We didn't know what we were going to be doing or what it looked like. But we just sat down and they started talking to me about their goals with Worthington, how they wanted to grow it. Well, I'm simultaneously looking into marketing roles with other real estate agencies and helping them grow their businesses. So I started to kind of see that wait a minute, this is silly. I'm trying to help you grow your real estate brokerage while I'm applying for jobs to help other brokerages grow. And we all kind of saw that at the same time. And Michael and Susanna said, we didn't know if you'd be interested in doing real estate, doing real estate outside of just helping us grow the business. But do you? And I said, yeah. And I mean, it was really that simple. But I tell that story because how naturally it all evolved and happened was one of those things for me that felt like this was something I couldn't ignore. This was an opportunity to pursue.
It's like you're calling.
Very much so. Very much so. And real estate has always kind of been on the back burner for me as an option, with a military career and everything else going on. It just was kind of one of those things that was hovering out here in orbit, and I just never really gave it too much attention and time. And this felt like the moment that orbit changed path and it was right here in front of me.
I see.
And one of the things that really connected us in one of those first conversations about growing the business was this conversation about strengths. 15, 20 years ago when I was in college, I had taken this leadership course. They required us to take this leadership strengths assessment. And at the time I'm thinking,
Is that like the Clifton Strengths Assessment?
That's it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Of course, at the time I'm kind of thinking, okay, another personality assessment. Like, what is this going to tell me that I don't already know, kind of a thing. I'll be honest, I wasn't that into it. Well, they did a really great job with that class of explaining to us how it all worked and what the purpose of it was. And I would say, I mean, in every job I've had, nearly every relationship I've had, personal, professional, everything, I reference that test and what it taught me about myself all the time. It's never gone out of having a place in my life.
I see.
Because those strengths don't change. Your life changes, the things that you're working on change, but who you are to the core and what makes you capable of, being successful and handling things the way that only you can, it doesn't change. Michael he's the statistic guru, but I think he was saying those first top 5 strengths that you have are 1 in 33 million people have those same.
Yeah, that makes you
top
so
five.
unique.
Exactly. So it tells you so much information about just you and who you are, which is why it was something that I've used throughout my whole life. And in one of our first conversations, I said, have you ever heard of this? Do you know what this is? And Michael's eyes got this big. And Susanna was like, oh, here we go. We're going to be on this train for a while. I could tell. She was like, yes, I'm excited.
That's his thing.
Yes, that's his thing. He is, to say he's a guru in the Clifton Strengths Finder, I think is even underselling his skill set there. So we had that conversation. He showed me right then and there his Stanley Cup with his top 5 strengths on the side of it. So we really connected on that. And he explained to me that that's the lens that he's coming at from building Worthington, that he, Brian, and Susanna are coming from, is being you. There's nobody else that you have to be.
Being
There's
you,
nothing else.
being real.
Be real, be authentic. So that really, put a spark in me, and I think in them too. And I knew I wanted to work not only with them and helping them grow this business, but I wanted to work for them. These are the types of leaders I wanted to have. If this is where they're coming from, I'm in. Let's go.
I tell you what, I've been in that office. I try to make it to as many meetings as I can. And that office, there's something special about that office. It's the synergy, it's just a really good fit. The group of people there are amazing.
I love that you said that. That's the second I met Michael, I was like, okay, this guy's he's doing something. Then I met Susanna, again, like I said, one of the times at the pub, and I saw them together. And I was like, okay, they've got something. They're doing something. Then when I met Brian and we had a lunch, the 3 of them together, and started talking about me becoming an agent and working with them, and that was after I had sat down with Michael and Susanna, I felt that same thing. And I tell them all the time, it's really important to me that they hear it regularly and see it from the outside looking in. Because when you're building it, I think it's so hard to see that you have that special something, and to know that it's there, and that's your foundation. So I tell them all the time that's why I'm here, and that they really have it.
Hopefully they'll watch this podcast and they'll hear the testimony.
They will.
And
what I noticed, I'll keep saying it.
What I noticed is because I'm in the field a lot. Like I said, I'm meeting with agents and brokers, and another thing that I noticed is the brokers that are most successful, they have a fantastic team. That team is like a family.
Yeah.
And I was at I was at an office in Cape Coral, and the energy from that office was just amazing, and everyone treat each other like family, and they talk about it too. It's what the conversation is about. Like, we're family.
Yeah.
And I think that that support system really helps drive success, because the stats are freaking crazy. Like first year, up to from 75 to maybe 80% of realtors. It might be a little bit higher, but 75 to 80% of new realtors quit in the first year. Mm-hmm. So, it's really good to have a good support system. But what I want to know is, what has your first 90 days been like? Talk to us about that.
Oh, man. Baptism by fire, drinking from a fire hose, all of those analogies for sure, but in the best way. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it would have been in the best way had it not been for this team. I cannot stress that enough. And I told you I was looking at I have a background in marketing and living in that kind of marketing and operations world. So it was an easy fit for me. And I've worked for a brokerage in Minnesota, just kind of doing a little bit of Facebook and helping with office type clerical stuff and that kind of like marketing operations role. So that was one of those easy segues for me and why I was considering this. And as I'm going on these interviews, right, we all know you're not just being interviewed, you're interviewing the company too, and you're getting a feel for it, right? And I'm thinking that spark isn't here. That feeling isn't here. That family. I know these people are going to have my back. I know they really care about my success, not just their business success, but mine as a human being. I didn't really feel that anywhere else I was going. And that's not to say that they're not great companies and they're not going to be successful. That's just what I want, right? That's just what I know is going to help me be successful. And I'm sitting here having these conversations with Michael and Susanna, whom I met through family and whom already feel like they're a part of that circle for me because of how we connected. Well, why am I going anywhere else, right? You know what I mean?
Just makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. It was just, it's like, what are we doing? This is silly. So I agree with you. I know for me, and I really would say that for anybody, that team is so important. If from the get-go, you're not having that feeling that this is where you should be, these are the people that you should be working with, this is where you're going to take off, then you're not going to. Yeah. If you don't feel that where you need to feel it, find out.
This is that inner voice. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably isn't right.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let me ask you, what would you like to share with the listeners about what to expect your first 90 days in,
right?
Maybe even your first 6 months in. What are some best practices, some things to pay attention to or to look into, or some things to expect? I mean, what's the road like?
Oh man, I think that can vary a lot too, depending on, of course, where you are.
Based on what you've experienced here in Southwest Florida.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, like I said, it's drinking from a fire hose. It's a lot of new information. It's a whole new career coming at you, rapid fire. It's like you're going 100 miles an hour down the Autobahn, but it's good in the sense that there's so many opportunities and resources. I would say the biggest thing, don't get overwhelmed. Take a deep breath. Don't get overwhelmed. And I probably say that because I need to hear it as much as I need to say it. Because it's very easy, just even we've talked about the logistical side of things, right? Just getting your MLS set up, your email, website, social media, just those logistical pieces
getting signs, business
cards, right? Exactly. Can be so overwhelming. And that's only just those logistical pieces. And you have to do things like get in front of clients, put yourself in that mindset of always being turned on, always being at work, not in a sense that you can't take a break or can't breathe, but I'm really learning in ways that I never have before that if you're in a business that you're passionate about, it's not really a job. There's a difference between a job and a business, right? Or being busy and actually working. Yeah. And this is probably the first time in a long time that I've had the experience of being so passionate about it that it's not really work. But by the same token, how do you create those time blocks? How do you be successful? Where does all that look? So if you're talking about just the first 90 days, if I could boil it down to maybe just a couple sentences, give yourself structure. Find a way. I'm not someone who builds structure very well on my own. So I leaned on teammates a lot for what does your structure look like? How do you set this up for yourself? What looks successful? Because you got to be able to do something every day. If you're not doing something every day, even if it's 1 hour or 20 minutes, that's better than nothing. But do something every day or you're going to be one of those 70% that never uses their license. Yeah. Just keep climbing.
That's a crazy number too.
Crazy.
70% not use their license at all. It's like they just freeze up and just decide not to do anything with it.
And I don't know, again, my experience I think has been so different than from what most real estate agents' first 90 days look like. That's probably why I feel this way and why I say the brokerage that you're working with makes all the difference. I can see how I think probably a lot of people operate by, your brokerage is just a place to hang your license. It's a place to hang your hat, so to speak. So if you're just a hat on the wall that no one's really looking at, no one's helping, no one's coaching, I could see how it'd be very easy to just fall off and not use that license.
That makes sense.
And not feel like you can be successful with it, right? Because who just dives into something with no mentorship, no learning, no education? I mean, you really have to have a team. It's not just a brokerage, a place to hang your license. my personal feeling on it is it needs to be a team that is willing to help you, willing to invest in you. Time, energy, mentorship, those things matter. And I cannot say enough good things about the team at Worthington and how much that is presence and how much it's made a difference. I don't know that I would even still be doing it now if I didn't have that kind of team mindset. So
yeah,
it matters.
That's awesome. You know,
they're the best.
Well, you heard it, Amanda. You know, she's an active realtor. She's in the game, doing what it takes to make it happen. And as you can see, it's not an easy road, but it's a road that if you have a game plan, you stick to your game plan, and you have a sense of direction with a support team, that there's a, you know, you're already 70-80% ahead of the game. I think, you know what, next time we need to cover some more things. I think we need a deep dive next time. Maybe we can talk about, you know, building your book of business. That'll be a great thing. I'm sure our audience would like to, you know more information about that, especially for a new agent, you know, how to build your book of business, you know, how to go about generating leads, the different ways you can generate leads, whether it's circle prospecting, it's farming, it's outbound calls to, you know, for sale by owners or expired listings, and just, you know, creating a referral system, just so many different angles that we can take to generate that business, and how to mentally prepare yourself for that delayed gratification, which, you know, things just won't happen right away. So it's just gearing yourself up for that that lengthy prospect, where, I mean, not lengthy prospect, but lengthy process of doing the work and then waiting for the rewards down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? I think that's a really good point. That's definitely something to cover. I would say takeaways from this conversation: if you're thinking about real estate, or if you're just not sure in general what your next move is, but you're ready to make a move, you and I talked about being in that life pivot point, and that's what brought us here. Do the Gallup strengths test. Just do it. If you are thinking about real estate, get a hold of one of us, and I would tell you to not go through anybody else but Michael for that, because he's been the absolute guru. So if you are thinking about real estate and want to take it through that route, don't be afraid to reach out. But if you're just kind of looking for answers and need a little bit of help figuring out what's next, you will use that Gallup Strengths Finder test for the rest of your life.
But Michael's is a coach too. I mean, he can coach anyone.
He's a certified strengths coach. Yes.
Yeah, he's done that for years. So I mean, even if you're not with Worthington, you're with another broker. So he'll spend the time. I mean, it's a service that he provides.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the best. Yeah. And then I would say, if you are thinking about real estate heavily, invest in the Millionaire Real Estate book. They also have a podcast. Even if you're not even interested in real estate, maybe just kind of business in general, the reason I think that book is so successful and turned into a podcast that millions of listeners refer to.
I need to get that book.
Leo.
I need to get that book.
It's in my bag right now. It's my Bible. I carry it everywhere. I'm telling you, I go pull it out right now. Yeah, you need to. Because they're coming at it from the lens of exactly what you and I are talking about. They're not giving you, well, they are giving you a step-by-step how to build a real estate business, but they start first with those fundamentals. What do you as just a human being need to be looking at? How to get away from fear, how to get that out of your way, how to come from the lens of authenticity and your personal strengths to build this. It starts where it really needs to.
Yeah. And
I don't think most books do. So if you haven't read it yet, Millionaire Real Estate.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, if someone wanted to reach out to you, how can they get a hold of you? I mean, social media, direct contact. What's the best way to reach you?
Facebook and Instagram for sure, both Amanda McGregor. And then my email is amanda@worthingtonrealty.com. Reach out to me anytime. I'm super happy to connect, answer any questions. I'm still so new in this game. I don't know how much advice as far as real estate I can offer you, but I have an incredible team of people who have been doing this. God, I don't even know if I know how many years collectively, but our broker has been in the industry over 20 years. So very lucky to have a team with a lot of resources. So if I can't answer the question, I promise you between us at Worthington, it can get answered.
Well, listen, thanks for joining us.
No, thank you.
I'm so happy that you made it out here today.
Thank you.
And we're able to pull this off.
Happen. This is all Leo. Don't let him fool you.
Oh man, you're too sweet.
Thank you so much.
Well, listen,
Leo. I'm excited for the next one. This was awesome.
I'm so stoked. I mean, I'm ready to make this happen.
Yes.
So,
keep the momentum going.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Until next time, keep it real.
Keep it real. I like it. Get real, keep it real.
Get real, keep it real, be authentic.
Yes.